Hey there, friend. Oh, don't worry. I'm armed and I mean you no harm. Here, how about we shake hands? Among my people, that's a gesture of mutual trust and respect. Ha, you gullible fool. Now hand over your valuables.
Humanity is a poison that must be purged from this planet.
You know this kind of storyline where a human character is tasked with infiltrating a group of non-humans and has to gain their trust and eventually open them up to some kind of attack or exploitation or whatever, but in the process the main character actually comes to like these people, and quite often it's a guy who then meets a non-human girl and they fall in love, blah 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 blah, and the great betrayal happens and she's heartbroken and hates them and doesn't trust humans anymore and all of this, and eventually, like, he sides with those people and then fights back against the invaders or traitors or whatever the hell it is. And ultimately, he regains her trust and everything is well in the end, blah, blah, blah. How do you even do that as a human? How do you gain a non-human's trust, considering our track record? Historically, humans mistrusted each other so much they invented things like cutlery with guns. No, I'm not kidding. Not common, but it existed. Which may not help too much because they also came up with poison rings made to have a compartment that holds toxic powder which you dump into the drink of whoever you want to get rid of. Arsenic is particularly useful for that, a poison that was popular in the Renaissance but already used before then, which you can't taste or smell in food or drink. And in France later on it was referred to as inheritance powder. Very commonly used by all kinds of people for nefarious purposes. Funny thing to say that. Is there a benign way of using poison? Arsenic was used a lot until the Marsh test was developed in the 1800s, because until then, arsenic couldn't be detected. You know how dark elves in fantasy settings are often reviled for their devious use of poisons? Amateurs. Humans mistrust each other so much they'd imprison someone behind a heavy metal door, but then still felt the need to come up with a key gun that can be used to shoot a prisoner safely from behind that door. Trustworthy. Again, not common, but real. Humans routinely lie, even under oath, sometimes blatantly so, and invented a lie detector only to then figure out ways to cheat on it. We've concealed and hidden weapons in seemingly harmless everyday objects. Sometimes we've even hidden weapons in other weapons. We've made traps to maim or end humans and other animals. We've put scorpions in ceramic pots and hurled them at our enemies. What a psychotic dick move. We've backstabbed each other countless times, both figuratively and literally. We've broken contracts. We've sold each other snake oil as miracle cures. We've sold each other, say, entertainment devices in boxes that turn out to be filled with nothing but rocks. We have released game trailers with no gameplay footage. We have cheated, catfish, scammed, and oh, what elaborate scams we come up with sometimes. For example, you agree to give me a certain amount of colored paper, or even just numbers, that I can exchange for various goods in regular intervals. You just keep giving me that, and in return, I agree that if anything bad were ever happen to you, or let's say if specific bad things were to happen to you, then I would give you some of that back to deal with those bad things happening to you. But then when they actually happen, I tell you, oh no, that's not actually covered under our agreement, you see. You didn't read the fine print now, did you? Sometimes we might trade you some really nice blankets, not telling you that victims of infectious diseases died in those. Oops. So how would you convince an elf or some other non-human that they can trust you? Because you say so? Because, oh, you're one of the good ones. Might not want to point to your own history because your track record ain't great. So how do they know? Trust the compulsive liars to tell you the truth about how they're being truthful. How can they trust that you won't betray and exploit them and stab them in the back and everything when you've done this to your own kind? Not you in particular, but your kind has routinely betrayed your own just by pointing to, oh, yeah, those humans, they're not really humans the way we are. They're different. I mean, just look at them. You know, they look a little bit different. They speak a different language. They have different customs. we can screw them over. That's fine. Just imagine how humans would act, how they would treat non-humans. I mean, we already know. Think of our track record in the way we treat actual non-humans in our actual world. A dolphin can't even trust us.
They would shoot you down like a dog. And you think they will share this world with us?
The funny thing is, when you think of evil species or races or whatever, what makes them evil, that's all shit we do. You know, think of orcs. Brutish savages who are extremely warlike and just want to exterminate everybody else and conquer and plunder and, yeah, like humans have done, okay. Dark elves, sketchy, no good assassins and poison brewers and spider worshippers, okay, fair enough, we're above that, but otherwise, when looking for a villainous species, look in the mirror. We can annihilate the entire planet if we put our mind to it. So yeah, I really empathize with the kind of human character in a fictional scenario that really happens to not be a lying scumbag, or at least doesn't lie all the time, and mostly tries to treat others well. It's, yeah, how are you gonna make anybody buy it and believe that you're one of the good ones when so many others of your kind are not particularly trustworthy? You wouldn't trust them either. The story that evolves usually ends with something like, yeah, they decided to take the risk in trusting you and it happened to end up well, you know? Like, yeah, okay, you have to have the courage to trust. Why is that such a big deal? You know, why is it such a leap of faith to trust a human? Because we're crazy, psychotic liars and backstabbers, that's why.
A human? You kill your own kind to win battles.
Yes, I know, this is awfully cynical. Humans are, of course, capable of good acts as well. Acts of empathy and loyalty. There's plenty of qualities that we embody as well. But the moral of the story is usually that someone didn't know what they were dealing with and that they had good reason to mistrust, but just decided to trust a human character anyway, just because the plot demands it. Anyway, cynical rant over. Hope you found it somewhat entertaining, even if a little bit of a downer. Thanks for watching and take care, folks. Try not to dab? Try not to dab, yeah.